Welcome back, True Seeker. It's a Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. We're nearly to the anniversary of the 94 assault weapons ban, which was led by Joe Biden in the time of Bill Clinton. And in light of it being 9-4, check out the address of the school. It's at building 940. And again, what we have here is news by the numbers. I put up a title for this video that you could argue is a little bit different than what the content's actually going to be about. And the reason I have to do that is because we live in the age of censorship. And if I'm not putting out video titles in line with the agenda, my channel's getting deleted, as it has been 20 some times. For all of you who clicked on this video hoping to hear that, yes, we need to disarm America now, this video is actually the counter argument to that. Because again, what the tyrants want is a state where only the police and the military have guns. And what this operation really is today is a police/military operation. And it's going on all the time. And that's what people need to wake up to. Our government works by a code every single day. And that should be obvious to everyone because the capital is in DC, known as the Masonic City, where it's etched right on the temple. All is number. And I've educated 1,000 times about this. The two most common days of the week for state-sponsored shootings are Wednesday and Saturday, and for very specific reasons. And we're going to get into that lesson right now, plus a whole lot more. So, what is it about Saturday and Wednesday that we get so many stories just like this? And yes, they do happen on other days too, but those days always have these same numbers in common. If you're new here, Masonry is based in Kabbalah, and a component of Kabbalah is Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. It comes from the belief in Kabbalah, expressed in the Book of Formation, that God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And there are people in this world who want to play God over the lives of others, meaning control their lives, dictate their lives. This code is very simple. It is ABC is 1, 2, 3. It's running the alphabetic order forwards. It's running the alphabetic order in reverse. It's also running the alphabetic order both ways with numerology applied. Thus, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. Again, I learned about this from a book published in 1926 by Manly P. Hall. It's called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. He authored a number of books. He became an honorary Freemason because he taught a lot about what Masonry and other secret societies are about. This old occult knowledge which has been forgotten to the masses. Now, when you run the alphabetic order forwards with numerology, shooting equates to 44 like Georgia. And as I go live, they began by reporting 2 dead, 4 injured. As I go live, we're now at 4 dead, 30 injured. That's what I just heard on CNN right as I went live. Jason must be out there listening to the same thing because he's writing the same thing. 4 dead in the 4th state. Georgia is the 4th state in order of statehood. We've talked about this so many times. Comes up all the time in rig sports as well. Like how Dabu Sweeney this past weekend just got his 44th loss of his career versus Georgia. And what was the score of that game? 34-3, 37 total points. Like I've said a gazillion times, rig sports, rig news, same Kabbalistic code, controlling it all. And it makes a lot of sense if you just follow the historical trail. What's American football credited to? Walter Camp, a Freemason, also a member of Skull and Bones out of Yale. Like former presidents, senators, and CEOs have been part of that order. But yes, with the alphabetic order forwards with numerology applied, shooting equals 44 like Georgia. If you run it in reverse, they both equal 37. Wednesday's very similar. Wednesday equals 37 forwards, 44 in reverse. Wednesday's identical to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who was VP to number 44. Joe Biden, who gave us the 94 assault weapons ban. And again, here we are on 9-4. We're going to get to talk. We're going to talk by the end of this. We're going to get to how perfectly synced this is with Joe Biden, who promised that there'd be major gun control legislation in his term in office. And that's coming down to a close. So we're going to see if he delivers on that. I mean, plenty of politicians make promises they don't deliver on. So let's hope this one doesn't get delivered on. But his term is not over. There has not been major reform yet. If things get crazy this school season with your tyrannical government, you know, they could get it done. And let's hope they don't. And we're going to talk about also what this has to do with being so close to the 30th anniversary of the 94 assault weapons ban, which happened September 13th. We're going to get to that in a moment. Because again, Saturn, which is also very important to the occult, the keeper of time, connected to death and judgment, Saturn has a 30-year cycle. We're 9 days from that anniversary, September 13th, 94. But yes, this also happened in the town of Winder, which equals 37. That's where this school is, Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia. Today's date numerology. Today is 9/4/24. What is 9 plus 4 plus 24? It's 37. So how perfect. It's a Wednesday. Also, Brian Kemp, the current governor of Georgia. It's 307 days after his November 2nd birthday. Tell me, is 307 in terms of numerology, is that far off from 37? Is it that far off? Of course it's not. It's very similar number, 307. And what do we know about 307 right now? That's how old modern Freemasonry is. Modern Freemasonry established June 24th, 1717. You know, it's funny. Right before this story broke, Fox News this morning was talking about how Trump's doing a meeting with the Fraternal Order of Police. And remember, Trump's definitely in this order. Both sides of the aisle are in this order. Don't get it twisted. Remember, Freemasonry equals 58, like secret society. The first degree is the apprentice. Trump announced from the 58-story Trump Tower that he was running for the 58th election. You can't see who's pulling the strings on this. Both political parties are selling us out. You can argue that one's selling us out more than the other, but that's not a reason to support either. They both need to be done away with. Anyhow, Brian Kemp, 83rd governor of Georgia. We're going to come back to that because this shooting's on the 83rd meridian. But we see time and time again from state to state when these happen and they become the big headline of the day. Again, don't be the next person like, oh, shootings happen every day. Yep, they do. It's a big country. But how often do they become the top commanding story of the day where right away the politicians are weighing in? I mean, turn on the TV. It's already going on. You're already hearing the politicians say enough is enough. When are we going to do something? When are we going to do something about gun violence? Taking away rights and liberties is not going to solve the problem. The people who do this, if you want to think this is something outside of a state operation, the people who do this, do you think they're going to be lawful people? Do you think if the government says, okay, guns are banned, do you think the criminals are going to give back their guns? All the guns on the black market? It's not, I mean, you take away guns from American citizens, the people who've actually followed what the government wants to buy it at the store, get it registered. If these are the people who get punished and persecuted when they eventually make their chess move to do this, all you're doing is making the nation less safe for everybody. Now you're less safe from the tyrants that run this place. You're actually less safe from the government, I'm being redundant. But the criminals, and by the way, pretty much every major gang and cartels backed and sanctioned by this same government. We just show, again, they're saying that Sinaloa cartel's funneling in all the fentanyl. Please. We showed who runs the Sinaloa cartel, the Jesuit cabal that runs this government as well. Remember, the Jesuits are the daddies of Freemasonry. But again, there's something known as Jewish Gematria. Derek on his calculator, which I often advertise, he did rename it Latin about a year back. I don't know why he renamed it. But in this cipher, which we've talked about for a decade, it was the first cipher I found outside of the base ciphers. Remember, Freemason is 307. DC is the Masonic city. Remember what we were talking about last week, 63 days after modern Freemasonry's birthday, 307 is the 63rd prime. You had the dead wrestler at 63. You had the news of Mariah Carey's mom and sister dead in the same day, while her sister's 63, and a number of other stories that day. So now here we are. Modern Freemasonry, again, 307 years old. Fraternal Order of Police, totally Masonic, on the scene, giving you the news, telling you, oh, we thought it was 2 dead. Now it's 4 dead. You know how it is when these situations come up. The numbers flow, they go. No, I don't know why it's like that in every one of these situations. Is it that hard to count dead bodies? How about don't give us a report until you've done the proper investigation? They're always in such a hurry to rush out the propaganda. They got to go through all these different death tolls. And if you pay attention like we do to the news, sometimes it'll be like 1 dead, and then it'll jump to 24 dead, and then it's like, oh, actually only 15 dead. It's like, how's this even happening? What, you had somebody there who couldn't count? I mean, we've seen the most extreme changes in numbers from way up to way down to back up. All for this day, it was this many. Oh, actually, the next day, it's actually this many. You pay attention, though, all of the numbers that they report are part of a ritual that correspond with the location, the date, as we show every single time. So now, as we go live, they got us at 4, again in the 4th state, a double 4, going with the Shooting Wednesday code. By the way, there's 37 all over the place today in the baseball games. I'll just give you a heads up on that. There's 37 everywhere. So often, if something hits in the news big, you'll see it all over in the sports games too. But look at the coordinates of this town in light of masonry, you guys. Look at the coordinates of the town. Look at where Winder is. It's on the 33rd parallel north, the 83rd meridian west, starting with the 33 in this little code. Police, masonry, federal, secrecy, order, they all equate to 33. They're all 33, over and over. The highest degree of the Scottish Rite is 33. Again, the Masonic Temple in D.C. that has all those numbers etched on the building. It's at the address 1733. Remember, the word Mason is 17. The word Masonry is 33. Modern Freemasonry created in 1717. This nation created by Masons 59 years later, the 17th prime number, doing things by a code. The 83rd meridian, again, the 83rd governor, murder equals 83. The band, the police, Stuart Copeland in that band, his father's part of the CIA. Again, the lyrics to Murder by Numbers by the Police that came out in 83 when murder equals 83 is that killing is the sport of the elected. And it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. And I'll remind people, Amazon remade the show Utopia. In the time of the lockdown, they put it out. Let's not forget Corona equals 33. But in the time of the lockdown, they put out the show Utopia, a really nice show about billionaires who control media faking a pandemic so they can mass vaccinate and mass sterilize humanity to get the population down to 500 million, just like what was etched on the Georgia Guidestones in the 4th state when 4 is associated with death. Again, a monument to a plan to kill a lot of the world's population for the sake of saving the earth. And then remember that the Georgia Guidestones, they came down, synced with the Pope on George W. Bush's birthday, on his 76th birthday on 7/6. What's the numerology of 76? Is it 7 plus 6 is 13, 1 plus 3 is 4? Yeah. The fake name on the Georgia Guidestones that they were credited to, that name equals 76, like Skull and Bones, Masonic order out of Yale. But again, look up the lyrics to Murder by Numbers. They did come out in 83 when murder equals 83. Now we got mass murder at a school on the 83rd meridian, synced with the 83rd governor of the state, where the politicians are already coming out and saying enough is enough, like they always do. And realize, again, these people work at a snail's pace. Think of the Sandy Hook era forwards. Sandy Hook era forwards. Think of how old those children are now. If you were let's say you were 10 years old when Sandy Hook happened in 2012, you're now 22 years old. You're of voting age. And there's been a major push from that time forwards to really get in the mindset that we need to do something about gun violence. And we need to, Donald Trump, he said he's for the red flag laws. He said, take the guns first, ask questions later. Again, both parties are in on this agenda. Brian Kemp is a Republican governor in a Republican state allowing this to happen. And whatever information I have access to as a typical citizen, Brian Kemp has 1,000 more levels of access. So if I understand this, why isn't Brian Kemp out there on his, podium today speaking out about what I'm speaking out against? Because they're all in the club, you guys, playing good cop, bad cop. Now, again, the address of this school is 940. Here's the address. 940 Heyman Morris Road, Winder, Georgia, 30680. About 2,000 people at the school, founded in 2000. 24-year-old school. They go from 2 dead to 4 dead in 24. Symbolism. The word gun equates to 42. Like Freemason, like Jesuit, like the Georgia Guidestones came down while they were 42 years old. The thing that gets out the pokey doke in your arm, VACCINE, that equals 42. Everyone who went before you and sold you that scam was part of the club. Jesuits and Masons, every last one of them. But okay, again, 940 is the address. The date is 9/4. The assault weapons ban in 94. We're 9 days from the 30th anniversary. We're going to get to how the name of the school equals 93 like Saturn. Saturn has the 30-year cycle again. Saturn's connected to death and judgment. We have death. We have politicians coming out judging, saying, when are we going to legally... Saturn, the planet's associated with color black, like how judges wear black. When are we going to do something legally to undermine what the country's about? We've been doing a great job censoring everybody. And again, don't get caught up in this crap of Mark Zuckerberg coming out and saying, the Biden administration pressured me into censoring. Yeah, so did the Bush administration. So did the Obama administration. So did the Trump administration. Censorship was literally the worst it's ever been in the history of the country in the time of Trump. And remember, 1984, a book about censorship by government became the bestseller on Amazon right as he became president, as he was saying he'd like to censor all of his critics. And again, I got taken down on his buddy's birthday shortly after he took office, June 28, 2017, only to be deleted 20-some more times since then. But anyway, look at the values of gun control. With the alphabetic order, gun control is 139. Freemasonry is 139. America's 139. With the alphabetic order and numerology applied, gun control is 49. Today's date can be written 4/9. America also equals 49, as does Washington. The number 49 is the 33rd composite number. The word Scottish equates to 49. Again, the Scottish Rite Temple is in Washington, 49. The capital for America, 49. Where again, 49 has a mathematical relationship of 33. You see how this stuff starts to fit together? It is a brilliant system that they've encoded. And again, to think about how it could have come to be, understand this knowledge has been out there for thousands of years. English was standardized with the 26-letter alphabet and the spellings we use today at the same moment the calendar was implemented, credited to the Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius at the end of the 16th century. So again, this system's been in motion in the time of the settling of the New World, when they learned how to mass produce New Testaments for a new world order, which the politicians, they put out there all the time. Both the Skull and Bones recent presidents, the Bushes, they always said that new world order. Bonesman is the alumni of that secret society. Bonesman 33. Again, Bush graduated from Skull and Bones in 68, became president 33 years later. Just like how in 1968 World Trade Center construction began and 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. Then 33 years later, the buildings come down. The Masons are the builders. Symbolism. Okay. All right, so gun control. Again, the 94 assault weapons ban was 13th of September, 13/9. And then 2 years later, on the anniversary of that date, who died from gun violence? Tupac, who was in the movie Above the Rim that came out around the same time, where the big hit single off the soundtrack was Regulators. If you think I'm tripping, I have older videos and posts on this, how perfectly coordinated it all is. Because I'm not tripping. It's all by design. Remember how they rushed out the album of Tupac on the cross looking like Jesus and put it out on Remember the 5th of November, Guy Fawkes Day, special with the Jesuits, when they tried to blow up British Parliament for printing the Shakespeare version of the Bible. It's because the church didn't want printed Bibles out there. They wanted to keep it to, the priest class. But again, that was like the first mass-produced Protestant Bible, King James. Straight Shakespeare. But anyway, you see how perfect it all is? You see how perfect it all is? And I wish more people appreciated when I did these videos, because you know what doing these videos does? It costs you your resources, your channel, your financial revenue. I watched a man last night scam his audience, shame my name, and then brag about how people were donating $1,000 at a time. And I just thought, God, these people that are just evil just got it flowing, man. I'm out here dropping the dopest knowledge there ever was. And very few people care and support. Anyway, I'm going to get that person later. That person's going to get it later. And you know what? His flock's not even going to blink an eye, because they're under the mass spell, the major indoctrination. But maybe we might pull one or two of them out of the spell. That's going to be later today at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern. There's some other information here that's super relevant. The one piece I'll give you is, again, the country's 248 years old, and so is the Illuminati. And remember, the Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit right before this nation was established. May 1st, 1776, Illuminati's birthday, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. This country, July 1776. But today does leave 118 days left in the year. Again, death and homicide equal 118. Fateful numbers. Tupac died on a 118 date, on the 2-year anniversary of the assault weapons ban. And notice all of a sudden Tupac comes back when they got the first ever Super Bowl in Vegas on the Vatican's birthday. We talked about that last year. And, the people behind his record label and why they did it the way they did. Never forget, Tupac, his alias was Machiavelli, a play on Machiavelli. Machiavelli wrote The Prince based on Caesar Borgia. Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday. And then in 2016, when Prince died by the numbers, which we predicted before it would happen, the day of the Grammys when his girlfriend died. Again, she died the day of the 58th Grammys, when Purple Rain equals 58, like Freemasonry, like secret society, like in the year of the 58th U.S. presidential election, which Trump won, and Prince had the song Black Donald Trump. But remember, Prince died, and then days later on the real Machiavelli's birthday, May 3rd, Prince died April 21st, 421, like for you. The letter used the 21st letter. He had the song I Would Die For You that came out in he wrote in 83. Same year the police put out Murder by Numbers. But again, Tupac's mother was announced dead on the real Machiavelli's birthday, May 3rd, who wrote The Prince, again based on Caesar Borgia. And Tupac died on Caesar Borgia's birthday. And Caesar Borgia is where white Jesus comes from, if you don't know. The son of a pope. Today does leave 118 days left in the year. You could also say today is the first of the last 119 days of the year, which is also true. Fraternal Order of Police equals 119, like All-Seeing Eye, and their logo is the All-Seeing Eye, which is a Masonic symbol. Winder, Georgia, has the same gematria as Bavaria, where the Illuminati was founded. Again, the Illuminati is 248 years old. It's the 248th day of the year. Winder, Georgia also has the gematria of Central Intelligence Agency, which was established in a major Illuminati ritual sync with the Pope, September 18th, 47. And I think this story is pointing to September 18th. Something wild goes down every year on September 18th. The Fed's supposed to announce the interest rate drop officially on September 18th, but I'm wondering if this story is pointing to maybe another shooting 2 weeks from today on September 18th. I'll get to why that is. Yeah, this photo right here, a lot of people say, well, the circle there for the school is so the buses can come in and circle. Schools do have that set up. But understand symbolism. Circles are important to witches. The first thing you do in casting a spell, and understand the word witch too has a negative connotation. Not all witches are bad. Understand that as well. There's like people still use that word in the third world. You're like, sweet lady, her grandmother is the good witch. Well, she's not alive anymore, but she used to be the good witch for their village. She was the one they would go to speak the magical words and put together the concoctions with the vegetation in the jungle to heal the animals. That was like her role in the town. And, you know, sweet lady, when she learned about what I was doing, she's like, oh, this kind of fits in with my grandmother, because they never taught me how to do it, but I understood that the words had to be just right that were spoken to the animals in the healing process. Anyhow, again, the first thing in casting a spell is making a circle. And it's interesting because the word circle equals 50. I just said America and Washington equal 49, like gun control. That's true. If you run the alphabetic order the other way, America equals 50, like it's the land of 50 states. Gun control also equals 50, and so does Washington. Again, also like circle. So they show you the picture of the circle. This is what CNN has for their story. And I don't think it's an accident, because it is spells and spelling and sorcery and high ritual. So at least this time, the parking lot's not completely empty as they tell you something horrible happened at the school. They've done that to you about 100 times over the last decade if you've been paying attention. Like, nobody's even at that school. Remember the Tennessee school? The one at Building 33 where they said 33 faculty worked? Remember then they released the police video footage a few days later and the school was completely empty? Like, wait a minute. Like, they're even showing you, they're going room to room. They're showing you the search of the whole school. It's completely empty. And then finally they get up to the library area and it's a shot from 100 feet away. And there's one person who's supposedly the shooter standing by the window. And not to mention in the different surveillance footage video they put out of that Tennessee Christian school shooting, in one surveillance footage, the shooter's wearing Pumas. And then in the other one, they're wearing Vans. And by the way, Vans is founded by Masons. I mean, just clowning. They're like, are you paying attention? Did you notice the school was empty? Did you notice the shoe change? Or you just believe in the crap we're feeding into your head? Because you're just letting us, the talking heads in the suits who talk real nice to you, just put the lies in your brain that marinate, then you go along with. Just march into the tyranny because we're all here in suits smiling at you. Did I not update this? I forgot to put something here. So I caught this. The name of the county where this shooting happened equals 70, or the Gematria of the county where this happened equals 77. I caught that right as I went live. It looks like I forgot to add it here. But today is 77 days before Joe Biden's birthday. And remember, 77 is a special number. This nation's capital is on the 77th meridian. And if you look into it, the United States, they were fighting to get the first. When they set up meridians and coordinates for this Earth, which wasn't all that long ago in history, the United States wanted the capital to be on the first meridian. America, number one. But when they didn't get that, they were also wanted the number 77. And that's interesting because United States equals 77, just like secret society. DC is known as the Masonic City. Police officer equals 77, like police department. Again, Fraternal Order of Police, which is Masonic, all throughout this country. Small towns, big cities. Police station next to the Masonic Lodge. Kitty corner from the Masonic Lodge. A block down from the Masonic Lodge. This little town I live in, population 4,000. The same building is the Masonic Lodge and the police department. We were recently talking about the Dallas police shootings of 7/7, if you recall those. Made for a good fictional tale. But yes, we're 77 days before Biden's birthday, the face of the government. His birthday is November 20th. Again, he's got the same birthday as the original RFK, who died in gun violence 10 days after giving a speech on how this nation needed gun control. Again, Kennedys were trying to undermine what it was about as well. People think they were the good guys. I don't think there's been any good guys in your federal government, sad to say. Got to be in the club. That's it. Got to play good cop or bad cop. Got to put on the show to get people voting for the different wings of the same bird. Same bird soaring over them, selling them out the whole time. I see a future America where they're literally bombing Americans with drones because we didn't stop the tyranny. We just let it get worse and worse and closer to home. We'll call them American Eagles. People will even vote for that. Yeah, we need more American Eagles taking out the bad guys in our community. Probably bombing people's houses like mine. Put up a news story. Oh yeah, he was running fentanyl in the country. That's not what he was doing. He was exposing your ass. But yeah, Joe Biden, like I said, Mr. 94 assault weapons ban, Mr. VP to number 44. They had to let you know right away that the president's been briefed on the shooting in Winder. Oh, now I feel safe. I'm sure he's going to help us out. But again, just where we started, Wednesday, Georgia shooting, Winder, date numerology, just perfect day for this. Perfect day. Again, right after the big football game, where Dabu Sweeney at Clemson just picked up his 44th career loss versus Georgia. 34-3 was the score, 37 points. You might have heard that part of that game was Roddy White, former NFL star who played for the Falcons, came out and said there's too many white people on Clemson. He's probably not wrong, but black equals 34. Roddy White also equals 139, the 34th prime. If you guys didn't know, Freemasonry equals 139 and free equals 34. Think about that. 139 is the 34th prime. But Roddy White had to come out and say that Clemson's too white. I mean, that's just the ritual in itself right there. Just more divisive stuff. But the score was fitting. The word black equals 34. We're going to have the first ever college football championship on Martin Luther King Jr. Day for this coming season. It's going to be January 20th. And by the way, don't forget, MLK was smoked on the 95th day of the year. Not Dabu Sweeney, but Kirby Smart, the coach of Georgia, got his 95th career win to open the season. 44 years ago, the championship was Georgia and Notre Dame. Notre Dame equals 95, Catholic school, like how Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses, got smoked by the numbers by the Catholic Church. The Jesuits were created 201 months later after Martin Luther penned the 95 Theses. From the MLK Jr. assassination on the 95th day of the year to the nation's first major gun control legislation was 201 days later. This year, the national championships on the 201st day of the nation's age on 20/1. Again, the Jesuit order equals 201. In Hebrew, 201 is associated with light. Knowledge is light to the occult. The Illuminati, the illuminated, the in the light, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. George Washington penned the letters about how they were infiltrating modern Freemasonry. Again, just put it all together because it does all fit. MLK's last speech in the Masonic Temple. Did he even really die? Ever seen the interview after he died where his little kid's like, Daddy is coming home for Christmas this year? It's like, uh-oh. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe mom was telling that, or maybe he really was coming home. A lot of actors on the world stage participating in the grand deception, but some things we'll just never know. But what we can know is that this government operates this way every single day. Can prove it in spades every single day. Hey, by the way, you think this is going to be political and talked about in the election? How about the debate in a few nights? On September 10th, you think it's going to come up? A few days from today? Shooting in Georgia 62 days before the election. Everybody's out there voting for the lesser of two evils. Some people out there because they want to vote away their rights and liberties. They've been raised by the state. They don't have an individual mind. They don't have any sense of how to take care of themselves. They need somebody else to take care of them. They're looking for the newsman, the news lady to do their thinking. They're looking for government to feed them. They're looking for government to be daddy. Again, how did we get here? We got here through years and years, step by step, of indoctrination and being lied to and not checking those lies and going along with it. I was bringing up that show Utopia earlier, and I didn't even finish my point. Yeah, I was telling you what the show's about, how they put it out at the time of the pandemic, about billionaires faking a pandemic to mass sterilize, to depopulate. I forgot the real point I wanted to make about that show, though. I mean, that part is important. But the real reason I wanted to bring up that show is because another plot line in the show is that the billionaires are also raising children to use in political propaganda. And one of the things they show is they're raising children to be mass shooters. Another storyline they show is they have people that are like sleeper cell agents. They show a man who has a family and he's a mechanic. But then he gets a call from Big Brother, and they put like some beep, 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 beep code sequence in his ear, and he turns into a mass killer. It's like, look at all the stuff in this show. What kind of show is this? And then a person like my sister, they'll be like, "Oh, Zach, that's just in the show. Come on, your government wouldn't. Government's to keep us healthy and safe. Come on, Zach. Everybody likes Kamala." That's what my sister's saying these days. How can you not like Kamala? Everybody likes Kamala. I'll tell you who likes Kamala the most is Willie Brown. Willie Brown, he loves himself some Kamala. I'm sure he still loves himself some Kamala. Yeah, come over, Kamala. We know that Georgetown professor of yours who speaks to the DNC by the numbers. I mean, come on over, Kamala. If you guys don't know, Willie Brown, his Willie loves when Kamala comes around. But remember, he was 60 when Kamala was in her 20s. And she started working on Willie's Willie, And now she's about to turn 60 right before the 60th election, and her 4 finalists for VP, if they weren't 60 years old, or at least reported to be 60. I mean, Tim Walz is supposedly 60. He looks like he's closer to 600. Looks like he's a biblical character. Hair's as white as snow. Bald top. Just a lot of guys are going bald in their 20s, but I mean, Tim Walz doesn't look 60 to me. I'm just like, he's 60? I don't think so. He doesn't look 60. But yeah, Josh Shapiro, 60. The other two guys. Again, go back and look at her 4 finalists. If they weren't 60 years old, their names in Gematria equals 60. Just like Donald Trump equals 60. And remember, Donald Trump. Oh, you got it coming tonight, Larry Gators. You're about to get smoked. And the only reason anyone's not going to listen is because they're too indoctrinated by the Society of Jesus. But don't forget, Donald Trump, Mr. 60, who had his ex-wife dead 45 years after their marriage, exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuitic nation year, plus everything else. Again, these people are all as evil as they come and in the club. And again, all the Christians out there voting for Trump, remember, the highest degree of the Church of Satan is MAGA, M-A-G-A. Donald Trump was at the White House with Obama on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan. It was the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, April 30th, 2011. And Obama joked that night that Trump would become number 45 on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, 45 days before Trump's June 14th birthday. That's who these people are. And realize, I mean, the real skill for all these people is they know that they can participate in evil, but then they can go before an audience and they can smile and talk nice and mislead and seemingly have no shame about it. And I can tell Larry Gators is one of those people too. You going to get it tonight, Larry? And again, because of the indoctrination, people are like, well, I'm sticking with Larry. I'll let him tell me that I got to vote for the Church of Satan candidate or I'm going to hell because him and I both believe in Jesus. Not even his real name. But hey, at least Larry gets that right. I did hear Larry say in that stream that if you pray to Jesus, you're praying to nobody because that's not his name. But again, he also told his people that if they don't vote for Trump, they're going to hell. Whoa, man, you are literally voting for Mr. Church of Satan. If you don't vote for Mr. Church of Satan, who's mocking you every day, you're going to hell. Imagine being that ignorant in 2024. You've certainly been listening to the wrong people. And I guarantee you've been listening to the Jebus people. We trust the Society of Jebus people before we trust you, non-believer, you antichrist, you. I hate that term, antichrist. I'm not into, fictional books. If that's what you want to just invest all your time in, fictional books, stories from thousands of years ago, and not listen to people who are proving their point in spades and who are really looking out for your interests and helping you see the light and not get taken by tyrants and frauds and criminals who work on the criminal foundation laid down by Rome, which is religion and government. If you can't see that the people who are against those things and exposing it are on your side, it's because you're one of the sheep, which is the terminology used of the flock, No, I've been here every day for 11 years showing you what's what. Not trying to pretend to be about something, not trying to, ride on the coattail of evil movements which hide in the name of religion and government and political parties. I could get on here and do my hair fancy each day, dress nice. You know why I don't do those things? Because those are the tactics of the indoctrinators, you know. And sadly, you see that's what people need. They need the flashy presentation. They need it to look like the news media for them to listen because they're under a spell, you know. So I went over time. I got to start my other stream, but here, this question. But you're not religious. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't associate with anyone religious. And anyone who says that they're about Jesus but not religion, I'm sorry. Jesus is the religion. Okay, if you're about the name of the religion, you're religious. You just see so many Christians, they want to run away from it because they know that religion's associated with evil, from genocide to slavery to mass murder to the Crusades. These are the things done in the name of the false god Jesus. The Romans gave you the J's. The Romans conquered the world. This nation's capital's architecture is all Roman, and they all swear in and claim to believe in that Jesus character. I get tired of people saying, "Oh, I believe in Jesus. I'm not religious." Yes, you are. That name is religious. That name is part of a religion. If you're spiritual and you believe there's a creator and you should live by the golden rule and pursue truth and do right by others, you know, that's every righteous spiritual existence there ever was. Creator has no name. When you're fighting over the true name of creator, you're fighting over some egotistical man-made crap that was only ever put here to control you and divide you in the first place. You know? So yeah, well, I'm going to get into that stream later again today. Like I said, I'm going to talk about 1,000 more times, especially when I'm watching a con man try to put shame on my name last night and then brag about how he's got pro athletes giving him thousands of dollars a week and then telling everybody in the chat that if they don't donate at least $100 tonight, they're not serving the Lord. That's what I heard Larry Gator say last night. And also told them if they don't vote for Trump, they're bad. How come, see you guys, how come I have so many people that attack me and say I'm a bad person and a selfish person? I give away everything I have for free. You ever heard me tell people that if they don't give me $100 tonight, they're not right with the Lord and they're bad? You just brag that you have athletes that give you $1,000 a week. How much more money do you need, church man, bishop man? It's just like my Moore friends when I went to Buffalo. They drove us around the community. They said, look, this whole place is broke. Dilapidated buildings, cars everywhere. The only nice buildings in town are the churches because Pastor Biscuit, soaking it all up, can never have enough. He brags that he has pro athletes giving him over $1,000 every week and then tells a stream with over 1,000 people on it, if they don't donate each at least $100 tonight, they're bad people. Huh? He's part of the church. He doesn't even have to pay taxes. All right, I got to start my other stream. Hey, and again, you know, last night he was doing nothing but lying, frauding, raking in money, bragging about it. And again, I never came here for money, but just take note, you guys. How many donations were made during this stream? 0. And that's just fine. I did this to help get out the truth and fight tyranny. See, if I was all about claiming the fake name of Jesus, I bet I would have made a whole bunch of money in the stream. See, because that's how criminals come in. They come in and they operate on the stones that were laid down by criminal Rome. And then they just ride on that because they know they got people in those lanes because they've been, you know, what's the word? They've been groomed to just follow the liars and the cheaters and the thieves and the criminals from a young age. And that's where they operate within religion and church. Here, give me your money. Drop your children off here today. You know, little Johnny, if he's crying tonight and says something happened to his butthole, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Bring another 100 tomorrow too. Till next time, Truth Seeker.